Oh no, The Acolyte Episode 7.
Oh hell no!
So, before we discuss the episode, I need to spend the start of this video having a composed rant. But before that, I just want to say that for all of us who have somehow made it this far into this absolute abomination of a show, you'll be happy to be reminded that this was the penultimate episode of the season, and episode 8 next week is the finale.
You're goddamn right.
At this point, I'm sure that it's a unanimous opinion amongst all viewers that this show is complete and utter garbage, and nobody expects anything in the final episode next week to change that fact. Now, as somebody who has been watching each episode twice, back to back, and then continuing to spend hours thoroughly breaking down all the plot holes, flaws, and inconsistencies in every episode of this show every week, I can confidently say that there has been no show that I've ever reviewed that has been this unbearable to get through. Never before have I squinted my eyes and cringed in pain when watching a whole episode of a show until The Acolyte. It literally is unbearable. Spending so much time watching and covering this show is brain rotting. Episode after episode, watching the actors try their very hardest to bring this terrible script to life and make it believable and watchable for the audience, and yet no matter how good their acting is, it's just not possible to do so. To see characters contradict their motivations, their decisions, and their morals time and time again, one scene after another. Sometimes they even contradict themselves in the exact same scene that they established a motivation, decision, or moral. Basic, bare-bones, uninteresting dialogue that doesn't add any value to the story. Nothing complex or intelligent is ever said in this episode, or in this show as a whole. All the characters are idiots. They never make any logical decisions. They always decide to do the dumbest thing in any given situation, leading to established problems being prolonged when they could have been simply solved, or new problems being created when they didn't need to exist in the first place. Just like the many times that the main characters decide to withhold crucial information from each other for no reason at all other than allowing the plot to happen, like the main characters deciding not to inform the Jedi Council about any new information they've gathered again and again about the biggest threat to the galaxy in centuries. I could ramble on and on about the overarching issues that persist and affect every element of every scene consistently throughout this entire show, but I'm sure that you all get it by now, considering we are 7 out of 8 episodes into the series. Anyway, with the rant over, let's speak about only episode 7.
It's about damn time.
Because I'm so tired of the show at this point, for this episode 7 coverage, unlike my previous Acolyte videos, I'm going to summarize the episode, and then instead of going over and explaining each individual issue in detail, I'll speed the process up for you guys and simply list off all the dumb moments in the episode.
Oh shit, here we go again.
So, to summarize the episode, episode 7 is a repeat of the episode 3 flashback, but from the Jedi's point of view, as many predicted. It includes and repeats many of the worst scenes of the worst episode in any Star Wars project created, the witches being cringe, May and Osha as kids, etc. It fails to explain missing information, and instead spending all its time covering the same story beats as episode 3 did. The Jedi want to take May and Osha, the witches refuse to let the girls go, and then both sides handle the situation poorly. Instead of May trying to kill Osha, what actually happened is that May accidentally set fire to the stone.
Tell me! How to get burned! How to get burned! How to get burned!
And blew up the whole place, and it turns out that the Jedi and the witches did indeed fight each other. Now, the summary's over, let's list off all the negatives, starting off with the fact that the Jedi have been on the witches' planet searching for months. Yes, months. With metal detectors. Honestly, we see a Wookiee with a metal detector. It is absolutely ridiculous. And they haven't left the planet since they got there. Oh yeah, and apparently, as Jedi Master Torbin seems to imply multiple times, that they aren't allowed to leave the planet until they find what they're looking for. Why, and why. In the Star Wars galaxy, they have probe droids that are made and used for this exact thing, but Disney doesn't know about any of that stuff.
You can say that again.
The second huge negative is that Jedi Padawan Tobin is so extremely desperate to go home back to Coruscant that his eagerness to return takes power over his emotions to the point where he disobeys his master and gets corrupted by the witches.
What?
This couldn't be any more out of character for a Padawan, someone who has been trained to stay composed since they were a baby, yet he has a breakdown because he wants to go home. Like, the average kid in the real world can handle being homesick much better than this Padawan can. Just another character making stupid decisions for the plot to happen, because this breakdown sets off everything that happens in this flashback event.
Oh, well, isn't that convenient?
The next negative is that Sol requests that Trinity and the others confront the witches together. Trinity says no because she doesn't want to risk an armed conflict, until Sol says please, because then Trinity says, alright then, let's go. She does a whole 180 on the decision she made about 5 seconds ago, and she's suddenly okay with a chance of an armed conflict. Typical Acolyte characters contradicting their motivations, previous decisions, and morals once again. The next point is that the other moody mother of the twins, the one with the spikes on her head, I don't remember her name and I don't want to, but she tells May to get super angry and kill everyone. I cannot explain how out of left field this was, but you'd actually have to watch the scene to truly take in and understand just how odd this scene is. On to the next big issue. Mother Anastasia, the less moody mother of the twins, turns into a magic spirit demon and seemingly attempts to attack and kill her daughter May by disintegrating her.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
The issues with what I just told you need no explanation, but then after that, Sol somehow stabs and kills Mother Anastasia in her magic spirit demon form, which makes me wonder what live-action Sabine Wren from the Ahsoka show is made of, considering she simply walked off the same deadly stab wound in her natural human state. But anyway, right before Anastasia dies, she decides to gaslight the fuck out of Sol by telling him that she was going to let her daughter leave with him, which instantly dumps a truckload of guilt onto Sol. Like, honestly, what is even this?
What the hell is even that?
And the final point, at the end of the episode, Trinity, going completely out of character, tells Sol that they're going to lie to the Jedi Council about what happened on this planet.
Oh, hell no!
Because that's exactly what she would decide to do. As a top-level Jedi Master, go completely against the way of the Jedi because the plot needs her to. Anyway, in conclusion, it really is impressive how this show is able to reach what seems like the lowest level of writing and storytelling competency, only to get even worse in the next episode. This show embodies the perfect example of how not to make a show or movie. George Lucas once said to Carrie Fisher that there's no underwear in space, and in 2024, Disney Star Wars tells us that there's no logic in space. Oh, how the Star Wars galaxy has changed for the worst.
But anywho...
Anyway, that's it from me. I'll see you on the next one. Let's get this shit over with.